So welcome to another project where we are going to look at how you can upload images and assign a name to it and save it in your local storage. So I'm calling it Instagram clone. It's not actually Instagram, but it's kind of where you can go ahead and choose a file from your local machine and then give it a name, my file 1, and upload it, and it will display here. Similarly, you can do one more, file 2, upload, and you see it shows up here. Now these are, even if you refresh the page, it's not going to go away because these will be stored in your local application or local storage in here. And if you see, those files exist right here. I'm going to expand it a little bit more. So if you see, it saves as post here with image URL. It has the data object, which is the image and the name along with it. If you open it here, you'll probably see them, how it's saved. So this is what we're going to learn in this particular project. So let's get started. Let's jump in and create this project. Now I already have my photo database folder created here for the project, and inside that I've created 3 files: index.html, script.js, and styles.css. I've also opened them in my editor, which is Sublime Text in this case, and there's nothing in any of these files, and we'll start from scratch. I'll go and refresh the page just to show you that there's nothing here, but we'll start with writing code, and as and when we do it, we'll test it out in my HTML page. So first, to start with, let's start with the doc type HTML. Next, let's give the HTML with English as the language. Once we have that, next we'll create the head, and inside the head, first we'll add the character set UTF-8. Next step is adding the metadata for viewport, which is width equal to device width, initial scale 1.2, so it looks good in any of the devices that we open this. And then title will say Instagram clone, just because we're going to upload some images and add some title to it. There's no login, no authentication, just so you can directly open this website, and as you've seen in the example, we'll just upload stuff. Next, I'm going to add a style sheet, styles.css. Then I'm going to add the body. So the body is what we'll see here. With this, we'll just have the title on the top called Instagram clone, and other than that, nothing else. So let's start with the first div element, is the overall container for the actual HTML, and then add Instagram clone in here as h1 tag, and we'll have that here. Next, we need an upload section, so I'm going to create a upload section div element for this specifically, and you'll not see anything because it's just a layer, and inside that I've added an input type equal to file. This is what we use for uploading files. In this case, I'm saying id equal to image upload, and accept only anything that is of the type image/star, so it can png, jpeg, any type of image that you want. Once I have that, the next thing, I'll add a text where we will give an image name, so you can add a name for this image. Next, I'm going to add a button and call it upload button, and this is where the upload action will happen. Finally, the feed of all the photos that you keep on adding in this library will be added to this particular div layer, and I'll make sure that I've included the script.js file, so all the magic happens there. Let's go back and check this out. So I have this HTML, which doesn't look that pretty, and we're going to use CSS next to make it more pretty. I'm going to also download some images just to play around with it. So I'm going to go and say soccer images, go to images, and just download 3-4 images for our library. Say save image as. I'm going to go and save it on my desktop 1, save image as, save this as 2, and save image as, save this as 3, save image as 4. So I have 4 images that I've downloaded just for future use. And here, if you see, I have the choose file. I can go to desktop and pick these images and upload it. Nothing will happen right now. If I do this, it says that, oh, it's there, but no upload will happen because we just have not written any code for it. First, let's go ahead and make it pretty. So I'm going to go to the CSS and first add the styles for the body. Font family, the usual, background color, F4, 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 display flex. Justify the content to the center of the screen, align items in the center of the screen, height should be 100%, which is 100 vx, which is 100 viewpoint height. So depending on whatever the viewport is, it will take 100, and margin is 0. So let's save this, let's run it, and we have it in the center. Next, let's make the container pretty. Background color white, padding of 20 pixel, have a border radius of 5 pixel, box shadow, align the text to the center, width is 100% and max width as 500. Save it. You'll see this here. Looks coming together a little bit. So next, I'm going to style the H1. I'm going to give it some margin, 20 pixel, and upload section. The upload section is this particular div element, and for that I'm going to give a margin bottom of 20 pixels, so it looks something like this. Then to the upload section input, which is the next input items inside here, what I'm saying is I'm display block, margin 10 pixel auto, padding of 10 pixel, width is 80%, border is 1 pixel solid CCC, a little gray color, and border radius is 3 pixel. So this will make it look something like this, a little cleaner. And if you see, I can add some text here and I can pick the picture from here. Everything works, just that the magic has not yet happened, just the styling. Next, I'm going to say feed. So for the feed, which is at the bottom, depending on whatever we display, I want to give a margin top of 20 pixels. So there's some padding here, margin here, and then post for each and every post. So inside this feed, I will have, for every single post, I want to give a margin bottom of 20 pixel. And then for each image in that post, I want to give a maxed width of 100%. So it takes the entire space over there. And then for each and every post name, which is inside there, I'm going to say margin top is 5 pixel and font weight is bold. So that's kind of completes our entire CSS. Let's look at it. I mean, there's not much change here because we've not done anything styling for the buttons, or not for anything that we did here were mostly for the post and feed, which we'll see in a little while. If you want to give more styling to the buttons and stuff, you've seen the previous videos, just use some of that for it. But for this particular reason, project, I'm going to have it as simple as possible. Let's go to the magic part, the script.js. In here, first, as usual, as soon as the DOM content is loaded, I'm adding an event listener to run this function. And inside this function, first I'm going to get the image upload element, which is the image upload, which sits right here. So I'm going to get a handle of that. Another handle, image name input, which is for the text field. I'm getting that. Next, for the upload button, I'm getting that, so I can add an event on that. When the upload button is clicked, what do I want it to do? Finally, the feed, where do I need to display the feed? So I need the element for that. Next, I'm going to get all the posts. Now this is similar to a previous project. Same thing, json.parse local storage.get item post, or create an empty array. So I'm going to create an empty array in the start, and then if there are data in there, for example, I inspect, go to your application, and you'll see local storage file is completely empty right now. There's nothing in there, so which means it will be an empty array. But when we create post, when user adds upload stuff, it will create post and add to local storage with the name post, and we'll have it there. Next, let's save the post. So when the button is clicked, I want to save the post. I'm saying local storage set item post, and whatever the posts are, I want to save it there. So I created a function for this already. Next, let's load the feed. So to load that particular feed here, I'm going to say initially I'm going to set the feed.inner.html. So this feed here, I'm going to put that as empty, and then when I get the post, from the post, I'm going to go through each and every post. I'm going to create a div element, and to that I'm going to add that class of post, the one that post that we created class here, the class that we created here. I'm going to add that that class to post div. So this post div will be created with this particular class. We'll show you in the code once I add a post. Then I have create an image element, and image.src is equal to, from the post itself, I'm going to get the image URL, and I'm going to append that image to the post div. So it's part of the post div. Next, I'm going to create a post name variable and create a div element. And for that, I'll add the post name, which is the post name class that I've created here, which has a margin of 5 and font weight of bold. And then the text content of that will come from the post dot name. So we have post dot image URL, post dot name. Those are the two things that we are saving, and that's what we are creating inside this div. And finally, the post div, I'm going to add it to the feed, which will be displayed inside here. So that's done. That kind of loads our feed from the local storage. Finally, the upload button event listener. So as in when the user clicks on this upload button, which is click on that button, I'm going to say get the file, which is image upload dot files. So whatever is uploaded here, I'm going to get that file and assign it to this image name. Based on the name that user has entered, I'll trim it so there's no spaces front and back, and that will be added to this image name. Now if file and image name exists, I'm going to do this. If it doesn't exist, then it will not do anything. If both of them are there, first I'm going to use the reader, the file reader class that is available with JavaScript. I'm going to assign that to reader, and when the reader is onloaded, which means the file is loaded onto reader, I'm going to say image URL is reader.result, and post.push, I'm going to say to the particular post array, I'm going to push this image URL and the image URL that we have created here, and the name, which is image name, and I will save the post. Now where is this save post function? If you remember, we did this here, so it's going to save it to the local storage. Load the feed. As soon as it's uploaded, it's going to load the feed. Next, image upload dot value equal to empty, image name input value dot empty. So this will be cleaned up and empty, and the file will be saved into local storage. Finally, the reader dot read as data URL for the particular file. So this will make sure that the file is used as a data object, and I'll show you what that means in a second, but that's what this does. Also, I'm going to make sure that load feed is called as soon as the HTML element is loaded on the particular browser. So that's about it. Let's see this in action. Go refresh this, choose a file, pick this one.jpg. I'm going to say soccer1 upload, and if you see here in my local storage, there's a post created, and inside this I have an image URL with data image JPEG and the entire images in it kind of converted into text here. So this is kind of a bitmap of that particular image. That's how images are loaded. So this is the actual data, which this read as data URL does that for us. Name soccer1, that is added here, and now again, if I and this is cleaned up, if you see here, and this shows up in the feed because I'm calling the load feed, which loads the feed here. I'll pick another image to call it soccer2 upload, and it's added. I'll add one more, soccer3 upload, choose file, soccer4 upload. Now if you want to do editing, deleting, you've probably seen some of the videos in the past. We have that, but for this particular project, I just wanted to go over and show you how you can upload the images using HTML and save it locally, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and save it locally into your local storage, and they show up right here. So here you can see all the images added, and then you can look at the details of them and see how it's saved. So that's kind of wraps up with our image upload. If you have any questions, if you had any issues, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you.